Ladies and gentlemen, General said at NATO has publicly said Russia is not a threat to Europe or the Baltic. And he has said this publicly. General Petr Pavel, chairman of NATO's Military Committee, says Russia is not a threat in the region. And basically goes on to say that the threats of aggression, among other things, are more than likely highly overspeculated, among others. So this comes from a top tier 1 general in NATO, General Petr Pavel, chairman of NATO's Military Committee, says Russia is not a threat and poses no real aggression, among other things. So this is what's really going on in the real world, folks. Sputnik, NATO's commander, admits there's no threat of Russia invading the Baltics. NATO's launched an unprecedented buildup in Eastern Europe, specifically focusing on the Baltic region, continuously citing Russian aggression. But one alliance general has suggested the West has no reason to believe Moscow has any intention to invade its neighbors. Last Tuesday, NATO agreed to deploy 4 robust multinational battalions that will serve in Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Poland on a rotationary basis, according to NATO Secretary General John Stoltenberg. These troops are necessary to show that the alliance will continue to protect and defend the allies against any threats coming from any direction. And NATO continues to publicly accuse Russia of aggression. Some have expressed concern that the alliance could consider an even larger buildup. But one in particular, General Petr Pavel, chairman of NATO's Military Committee, has assured reporters that traditional troops will not be needed as Russia does not actually pose a threat. So as you can see here, folks, this is actually one of the biggest lies so that the banks can basically build up armies on people's doorsteps and keep them there. This would be no different than entire SWAT teams coming to your house, sitting outside your door with no warrants and no intention of making any arrests or anything else, but just sitting there basically putting their guns on your house and all your family members and not doing anything, having no intention of doing anything, and basically playing war games outside your house. This would be no different. So anyways, folks, this is the story. Read one more time. While NATO continues to publicly accuse Russia of aggression on some have expressed concern that the alliance could consider an even larger buildup of military force. General Petr Pavel, chairman of NATO's Military Committee, has assured reporters an additional troops will not be necessary or needed, as Russia does not actually pose a threat, and that these 4 robust multinational battalions have basically been put in Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Poland for rotationary bases, according to NATO Secretary General, that these troops are necessary to show that the alliance will continue to protect and defend all allies against any threats coming from any direction. And this guy basically says that Russia is not basically the primary target, and that basically these troops are just standing there for no reason. So this is the real situation, folks. This is how shit-faced the world has come. This would be no different than the police putting SWAT teams on your doorstep just to put them there so that their new guys can hold guns on a family and do nothing about it. Thank you. It's the same thing domestically as it is internationally, folks. If you bring down the banks, all this shit will stop in an hour. But they're not going to bring down what's keeping them paid.